What's going on, boys? Noguides here. Welcome back to another video. And today's video we're going to go over the 3-4-2-1 that attacks in a 3-4-2-1 influenced by the pros, but it also defends in a 4-4-2. I uploaded this last week without defending in a 4-4-2, and this is how it defends in a 4-4-2. Well, how? Well, very simply, Calabria comes in, he makes the back four, and then Rodrigo and Ribery make the wingers, and then Neymar goes up top. That's very much how it is, very similar to the 3-5-2. Let's now walk you through the instructions and the tactics, both for old gen and new gen, and I'll explain everything and how this formation works. If you do want to get better at FIFA 23, I do have a FIFA School Series. But just before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? I can say that because I've been running my paid advanced in-depth FIFA School Series successfully for many years, and thousands of others have joined already and still stay on. This is for all levels of those that want to improve on FIFA, and you won't find these videos on my YouTube channel. These videos are in a progressive systematic learning system that teaching you everything from the core mechanics of FIFA to the meta, so you can get better at FIFA as a whole, not just this game, with examples and explanations that go beyond the scope of YouTube videos. With new videos coming out every single week, these videos also adjust to recent updates and patches so you can stay up to date. So come join thousands of others in a mature audience community for those looking to get better. Patreon.com/NilGuides, link is down below in the description. Now when you join, we already have a library of hundreds of videos that are specifically made for both new gen and old gen, with new videos in FIFA 23 getting added every single week. We also have an additional group coaching as well that we started this year due to high demand and high request. And don't forget guys, it's a money back guarantee, so if you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money. That is the NilGuides guarantee. Anyway, link is down below in the description, patreon.com/NilGuides. But anyway, back to the video. Now as I said, it does defend in a 4-4-2. Now, personally speaking, I did put pressure on heavy touch last week. I would still retain it. I would say though, the biggest weakness is when you're transferring from this 3-4-2 when you're attacking. When you lose the ball, you go to a 4-4-2. That is the biggest chance of you losing the ball. I personally use pressure on heavy touch, but if you do feel that this is too aggressive and you're losing the ball way too much, feel free to tone this down back to balance, okay? The most important thing I've done though, is I've changed from last week, is the width has to go all the way down to 25. Probably one of the lowest width we've ever used in the formation. This is because the way the formation is, when you defend in a 4-4-2, you end up having a lot of pockets of space in between the lines, and that's what creates a lot of defensive issues. You have players that are running into gaps because the defense are too wide. So what we're telling the game is, when we're defending in a 4-4-2, I want you to be as narrow as possible. 25 width, this kind of goes beyond what the normal widths I use, but with this formation, the 4-4-2 becomes narrow and you don't have the space in behind. Don't forget, when you look at the formation, remember, it automatically goes to a 4-4-2 because the right mid, he ends up becoming a right back, and then when you win the ball back, it goes back to a 3-4-2-1. Think of it like in possession, you're a 3-4-2-1. Out of possession, you're 4-4-2. Then we go over to the width. We put it to 55. Just a slight reduction from last week. Nothing too major there in terms of the depth, should I say. And then we go over to the offensive end. Now, I did put balanced last week. Now put long ball back on. I just wanted to hear your feedback on how balanced would play with the 3-4-2-1. People have been saying it doesn't move as quick. Don't forget, when the pro players use this, if you do see balance a lot of the time, is that the pro players are always triggering players to make runs. They're always pushing this player forward, that player forward, and that is why their gameplay always looks better. People say, oh, why do these players make the runs? Trust me, it's not the special tactics or the hidden tactics they use, it's their gameplay. So what long ball basically just says to the game is, okay, when we're building up, I want those players to make runs in behind. Think of long ball just means get in behind like you would for a striker or a winger, any of those players. For the chance creation, we have left this on direct passing for both old gen and new gen. I would say though, old gen may prefer forward runs. In fact, I would say, although I'm advocating direct passing here, personally, for my play style, I actually prefer forward runs. But I think if I was to give this formation out to every single player and the average player to use it, they may prefer direct passing a bit more. But I would say do try those both. Width, we've also reduced this down. We have gone all the way to 45. Now don't forget, this formation when you're attacking, what you want to do is you want to pin these wide players really wide, and then you want these 3 players to be in line. So what effectively happens is you have a 5 attacking line, And what we want to do is we want to create these players on the wide areas as wide as possible to stretch the defense, to stretch the back line. And then we want these 3 players inside the middle kind of occupying against your opponent's 2 centre backs. If he has 2 centre backs, he or she has 2 centre backs. So the idea is you're always going to find a player free. You might find one of the 3 strikers free that are very centralised. Don't forget, these are not wingers, these are strikers. Or you might find your left mid and right mid very, very wide as possible. So what we've done is we put it on 45, and we can always use hug the sidelines in the game if we need to. Players in the box, we put this on 7, corners and free kicks on 1. But what about the instructions? How does this formation really come into shape, and how does it kick on? Let me go over to the instructions. So the thing is, we need Griezmann to stay forward. He makes one of our strikers, okay? So Griezmann's going to be number 1. Neymar is going to be our second striker. This has to be done this way, otherwise Neymar would make a back 5. In order for it to defend in a 4-4-2, we have to bring someone from a wide position forward. So what we do is we put Neymar here at number 2. So this is Neymar. We're going to put him at number 2 there. Put number 2 for Neymar. Rodrigo, we're going to put him at number 3, and he actually plays as a defensive. He plays as a left mid. And then Ribery ends up playing a right mid. So what you do have is you have Griezmann and Neymar. Maybe the numbers, maybe not the best of ideas. I practiced teaching this with the numbers, but now I'm just thinking it's not even worth it. But long story short, Neymar and Griezmann, when you're out of possession, they're your 2 strikers. Rodrigo makes the left mid, Ribery makes the right mid, and Calabria comes into right back. That is how you defend in a 4-4-2. So Mendy goes left back, he's the 2 centre backs, Calabria right mid. Wijnaldum and Vieira, they stay as that centre mids. Then you have Ribery that goes to a right mid position, Rodrigo goes left mid, and then Neymar stays a striker with Griezmann. When you then win the ball back, what happens is that Neymar then drops to a left mid position, creates that momentarily confusion, but then Rodrigo and Ribery then run from the deep positions out wide into the central areas. These inverted runs is what makes the formation even better, because you can always find those players with those driven passes. So that's what's very, very important. So the real thing is just that Calabria is coming back to make the back 4, and Neymar goes striker. That's the main things to worry about. So the striker, we get him on stay central, stay forward, get it behind. You always want this player to stay forward. This is going to be a counter. This is going to be your exit strategy. And then the Rodrigo, the left centre forward, this has to be someone who's got pace, because they're going to be coming back and defending as a left mid. Don't forget, out of possession. We put come back in offence, so tell the game, put him back to a left mid when we're defending, stay central and get it behind. Likewise, same for Ribery, stay central, come back in defence and get it behind. Again, the key thing is ideally try to get high stamina here, but the most important thing is if you can get high work rates, even better, but the most important thing is pace. You need pace here. You cannot get away with that. So 81 sprint speed, CR7 in these roles. You have to play CR7 up front and play a winger or a quick player in these roles, or a second striker. Then we go over to the 2 centre mids, the more simpler ones. Stay back while attacking, cover centre, nothing different there. And then we have Calabria. Now, Calabria on stay wide, get in behind. Now, just for reference, both the left mid and the right mid are both on stay wide. That is how you get that feature of pinning your opponent's left back and right back, and then forcing a 3 versus 2 in the middle. Or the second alternative would be, depending on your opponent's depth, of course, and their width, is that your opponent's back 4 will be like this, and then you have these players free down the wing. So you're always going to have that 2 options. You're going to have a front line of 5. Compared to the 3-5-2, normally you have a cam in behind the 2 strikers. This one, it's a complete line of 5, just like that. Kind of similar sometimes to how Arsenal play as well. We've got a secret formation on Arsenal, by the way, coming up very soon as well. But yeah, Calabria, come back in offence, stay wide, get it behind, get into the box for a cross. The one thing I wanted to change here was I got rid of this. The reason why is this player is going to be going to a right mid position. So last week we weren't defending in a 4-4-2, so it made sense. This week we're moving, so keeping him on the center edge of the box for a cross. That way, if you lose the ball, he can easily run into a right back position. Because if he goes inside the box, then he's got a longer way to come back. So that's that. So stay wide, get it behind, come back in the fence. Now for the left mid, same thing. The only difference is we kept getting to the box for a cross for this player, because that's going to be the players on stay forward anyway when we're defending. And as you can see, stay forward. Now this is how the game determines it's a 4-4-2. If you put this player on come back in the fence, or you put this player on balanced, he will then come back and you end up defending in a backline of 5. So what we're saying to the game is, I want this player to go and stay forward. It's a bit difficult to understand unless you try it out and you mix things up, but you have to have the right combination of players coming back, otherwise the formation just goes all over the place. So that is why we put Neymar. So Neymar is that person that stays forward, don't forget when out of possession, and Calabria comes back to make that 4-4-2. Now for the whole defensive line, I just left them on default. I was considering using overlap, not step up, overlap. But I'll recommend, probably advise against this formation. The only downside with this formation is these two centre mids, unlike the 3-5-2, how you typically see, for example, a 3-5-2, you have really here CDMs. And these CDMs sit deeper and they are more connected to your back three. Unfortunately, it doesn't really feel the same way in a 3-4-2-1. You almost feel like these centre mids are a bit too far apart. So there may be that gap between the back line of three and the midfield. So that is probably one of the only weak points with this formation. So make sure you have that possession ability and you're not scared under pressure. Your exit strategy can always be the wing players. And finally, try to get one player that can dribble in midfield. You're going to find these three players available up against two CDMs. You're just going to need someone to break through and make that pass. So try to get someone a bit more rigid, or if you can, two agile players. But someone like Vieira, more rigid, I would say, and someone like Ronaldo, more on the agile. Or if you saw someone like Perisic on, you do have a perfect combination. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. That is the 3-4-2-1 defending in a 4-4-2. Don't forget, if you like this video, you can subscribe to my Patreon series, patreon.com/Neil, guys. The link is down below in the description. If you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money. And we have the Division 10 all the way to Elite Division Series, where we go from every single game, and I show you with the control how to go from Division 10 all the way to the Elite Division. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy, and of course, I'll catch you next time. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy, and of course, I'll catch you next time. Peace out.